Welcome everybody. This is a brand new series of In the Stiffs. Dave, Gav, are we all right?
More than all right. Ready to go. Excited. Missed it.
Dave?
Yeah, it's been nice to get a bit of family time back in after that manic 3 months we had.
You've had 14 holidays, haven't you?
No, just the two.
My family have left after the first series. They just decided that they'd had enough. They couldn't cope with a second series.
Free up more time though.
Well, I thought so.
It makes you more flexible because you were hard work last night trying to get the time sorted last
yeah,
weren't you?
Yeah.
It's
so
good that
it's their loss.
You by yourself now, aren't you?
It's their loss, isn't it? So joke's on them, really.
Right, series 2. How are we feeling about series 2 then, Dave?
Again, that's proper exciting. Some of the guests we've got that are coming on, we've already recorded. Some of the other guests we got lined up to do, hopefully in the upcoming months. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it.
We've tried to get ahead of the game, haven't we, by getting some guests on board, like getting them in the tank, because the time scales of series 1 was tough, wasn't it?
It was nice because of the demands, wasn't it? People obviously seen the value in the podcast, which was nice, so they wanted them pretty regular. So, like you say, we've had to get ahead of the game a little bit.
We're chasing our tails, weren't we?
Yeah, massively.
I've got a proper job though, haven't I? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, novices is probably the term for us at the time.
So series 2 is going to go like clockwork then. We're all over it. We've got guests sorted.
Yeah.
Still got another guest, haven't we?
Still got one more guest to come.
Yeah.
And then
hopefully another couple as well.
Do you know what we've been terrible at this time? Hiding the identity of the guests. How bad have we been this time? Just because we're so excited. Like, should we tell them? And they just get it out on social media. Who loved it. So hopefully everyone's going to enjoy them.
The guests are good though, aren't they? It's a proper like mix, isn't it? It's quite like, you know, there's something for everyone there. It's good. It's good.
Proper loads of different stories, isn't it? And not just like funny stories in football, but different experiences people have been through, different ages, different backgrounds. It's incredible.
It's an amazing experience. Like, I know I speak on behalf of all three of us, but it's amazing to be a part of listening to these stories and being involved and quizzing them and finding out what their thoughts on their backgrounds and how their journeys materialise. It's been lovely to be a part of, isn't it?
Yeah, give people a real insight. Want to give a real insight. Right, so this obviously this is the start of the new season, isn't it? It's a strange time. So back when you're a footballer, the season finishes sort of May, doesn't it? Sort of beginning of May, middle of May. What normally happens is everybody will have a holiday, won't they? They'll probably have one with the lads, one with the family. I don't know. You might have two with the lads, depending if you're lucky. You're probably only getting one, aren't you, with the lads, especially as you get older. And then you'd have your like May, then you'd have June, wouldn't you? And then you'd have an off-season programme. And then you'd be back into pre-season training.
Normally
July.
Back end of June, early July.
I remember being the start of July, and they'd have like a good sort of 6 weeks, wouldn't you, till the first game of the season?
Yeah. Wouldn't see the ball for 4 of them 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden.
Dave, you're still playing now. Dave, talk us through. So you finished your season, same as what we just said there, May.
Yeah.
And then what? Lads' holiday.
It's Wales, isn't it? So you finish in May and you start back in May.
Yeah. if I go back a couple of years and sort of when I was full-time football, you finish the season. At that point, you're on the countdown from Christmas, really. As soon as you get into that new year.
Christmas. I thought he was going to say from mid-April, end of April, you're on countdown from Christmas.
Finish your Christmas dinner.
Dave gives it 100% up till Christmas. After that, he's on the countdown, isn't he?
Yeah.
The season goes so slow those first few months. When you get into like October, November, the weather's turning, the nights are drawing in. It's a graft, and you feel like you've got so long of the season left. But once you get into January, get January out the way in particular, it flies by then, doesn't it?
February, whenever you get to February, I can smell the end, I always knew it. Like, it felt like the weather's changing. Yeah. They started talking about promotions and relegations and that, didn't they?
I used to start hitting the gym really hard about Just chest arms and sit-ups, ready for Marbella and Magaluf.
Blow out for Christmas dinner, and then normally it's hitting the gym. You're really working on your core and your strength and conditioning and that. Yeah, it's obviously tough in Magaluf. It's tough. It's tough on that beach. Yeah, there's a lot of competition out there.
January after Christmas would be like, stats would be well down. 0 assists, run about 5 kilometres.
Top heavy.
Yeah, proper top heavy. But come here, but it looks absolutely incredible.
You look like you're blowing, Gav. Yeah, no, honestly, I feel great. Your chest looks good though. Yeah. It does it.
And then I think as you get closer to the end of the season, you're navigating your way through then with injuries and things like that. The last thing you want as a footballer is to pick up an injury in that last month of the season, and it's going to mean you're in over the summer getting rehab. It's happened to me on 2 or 3 occasions, and it's a nightmare. It is. You're the only one in the building usually. Yeah. Physios have to come in with you. They kind of alternate their rotors, raging with you, and you don't get your proper break. But then once the break does come, especially I'd say that the back end of my career, you always have 2 weeks where you do nothing physical. Yeah, no exercise really. When I was younger, I used to just carry on right the way through.
Did you?
But just trying to get fitter, stronger, all that stuff, and it probably had a bit of an impact on me as I got into mid-20s because I never really had a break. I was and my body started breaking down a little bit. But later on in my career, I always have those 2 weeks off. I put on so much weight in those first 2 weeks as well. So you finish the season quite lean, don't you? And then those first 2 weeks, I always struggle with my weight in the off season, really bad. My fitness was always okay. I know I'd go back fit, but actual body fat used to be the worst thing in the world. I used to hate it.
We used to have it's Sunderland used to come back. You used to have like the calipers. You know, like the calipers. Still use them. So they'd be pinching your skin, wouldn't it, to see how much.
What was it? It's your tricep. It's your hip there, isn't it?
Yeah, your hip, like your love handle, your tricep, your back. I used to be like, "Ow, what? You grab a muscle there. That's muscle. Stop grabbing the muscle."
Tony Daly at Walsh used to get to the bone, mate. I swear he did.
Yeah, he's in great nick, him, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was bad. But I always struggle because I always carry weight around my middle, like proper bad, and they take 3 measurements off your stomach. I wish they never take any off your legs. I've got the skinniest legs in the world. They would not take any off your legs.
My legs, I've got nothing on my legs. Stop grabbing it around the middle there.
So the joke in our change, whenever I was in a change room, was my back. So they'd go, "Oh yeah, good around the buys, good around your hip there, around your stomach, and that." And then and then it gets my back, and all the lads would go, "Here comes the back." Look, I'd be something like 8% body fat, and they'd check my back, and I'd be 92% body fat, or something stupid like that.
You can do all the back exercise in the world. It just doesn't shift it, mate.
I'm literally doing pull-ups, flipping, doing everything I could, all the back exercises ever, doing the running. Nothing. Just had a fat back.
So I think you do. So it's like I used to be the same. So you do like nothing. I used to do nothing for the first couple of weeks, and normally that's when you'd have your holiday, wouldn't you? So you do your
lads holiday,
Magaluf,
your lads holiday.
We used to do like. Like iron up 14 days.
I've done a couple of 2 weekers as well.
Gaffer, I'll do a couple of runs when I'm out there.
Honestly, Gaffer, I'll be sound, mate. What you got anything booked, Sam, for the summer? I've got iron up a book, Gaffer. How long? I've gone for 14 days, but honestly, like I'll be running like all the time in iron up. I run all the time, and it's obviously.
I used to go with the lads, and then obviously, like you'd have your blowout, like you say, first couple of weeks of pre-season, and go on the family holiday, and Holly would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "You can't go for a run. Did you do that with the lads?" "Oh, yeah, all the time, yeah." Every morning we got up, had a real good shift, had a dip in the sea, and then we'd have a few beers. Oh, that's really good.
But the lads' holidays are brilliant, aren't they? Because you've got so much emotion going on through the season, and the lads are like a coiled spring, just ready to go in there, and everything, they just go absolutely wild. As soon as you get to the airport, it's absolute carnage. It's probably mellowed a bit now with camera phones and stuff like that. But I look back to my early holidays, probably with you lads and things like that. It was
a plane for me. Do you remember how it used to be on the plane? Like you'd have all these lads going out, and I'd think to myself, I'm not a great flyer anyway. And I'd be like, flipping it. Everyone needs to sit down and just calm down. The plane, and they're all turning over their seats, talking to their mate at the back, and all that. It's like a nightclub on a plane. I'd be like, God, it's a bit weird. We might flip.
You got a young family sat next to you.
Yeah.
There you go. Apologise for myself in advance. Can you apologise to the kids as well? I'm really sorry.
We were always Malia and Zanti. They were the two that were quite popular at the time.
We did Malia. We did Magaluf. Sunderland, though, when we were when we were half decent, we did Marbella a couple of times.
Oh yeah, we did
Marbella ones and that. You do Marbella, and then we do the lads organise our own little one. I remember doing that. I remember doing that 14 days in Ayia Napa, just
flipping it,
ridiculous. 14 days, no water.
Every single night.
No sun cream.
No.
Loads of press ups.
And then we try not to sleep. Used to call ourselves a straight through crew. So you wouldn't sleep for the first 3 days. Did you? Straight through crew. And then he'd be disappear. Anybody seen Sam day 4 to 6? No, gone. Has he flew back? Comes back out day 7. I'm back, lads. Here I come. Whoa. Let's get this party started.
I always remember I think, where did we go? I think we were at Malia, and Neil Gregory basically just loved a beer, and just decided for the first 3 days he wasn't going to sleep. He's going to be showing off in front of the lads. And then on the 4th day, there was the round windows. Literally, that was pushed, so it's like you could see through it. And I looked through, and he's just on the bed shaking, just like the alcohol coming out of his system. I was like, "You're right, Gregors." And he's like, "Oh, like that." Been on the 4th day. He's like, "Yeah,
it's not
better.
good.
It's not like that anymore,
no.
is it?"
I mean, I remember. I think I might have mentioned this before. When I had one of our young lads, he'd come out and he had to be wheeled out by the stewardess. I think I've told you that, haven't I? In arrivals, and he was only like 18 at the time. And his mum's there, and his mum's proper started kicking off on all us, going, "Look at the state, what you've done." We were like, I was only like 22 myself. I'm like, it's not my
Every
fault,
man for himself.
I was like, if he's going to come on holidays, he's 18, he's fine.
How funny is it though? The flight out and in the airport on the way there, you're absolutely buzzing, getting levered, and you look at that flight on the way home. You don't sit next to each other. You don't speak to each other. When you're leaving the airport, it's a little nod to the head. See you in a few weeks. That's it, isn't it?
You look at each other going, got a lot of work to do. You look at each other like you got your belly's hanging over your shorts. You go, I've got a tough couple of weeks coming up to get myself in shape. Yeah.
When you get that realization as well, the last few days of holiday, you're thinking, "Oh shit, no. I've got a bit of work to do." It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got your off-season program. Like it starts the day you get back, and it's like 8 400s, and you're going, "I haven't got 8 400s."
Remember when we went over to London Road that time, me and you, and we went to do our off-season program. I remember we were running around the track, and I think again it was something like 8 400s, and I think we'd done 3, and I was going, "Sam, should we just do 4 or 5 today? Because I'm just not feeling it. I think we don't want to hit it too hard." You start convincing each other. But if we don't hit it too hard, we'll be better tomorrow. Yeah. So then we just
we don't want to pick up an injury. Don't want to pick up an injury. Like we've still got 3 weeks to go back pre-season. Don't want to get injured.
Loads of time, haven't we?
Yeah,
loads of time.
Loads of time.
We'll be all right.
We've got 3 weeks.
We'll be all right.
We've got 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be.
You got a week. You got 4 days. Like that.
Because then it's the realization.
You don't eat then. The last 3 days before pre-season, I am like literally like a UFC fighter stripping, ready to go.
We used to do though. I don't know. I mean, we used to put ourselves in bin bags and sit in the sauna for like an hour and a half. Like obviously, I don't know whether that.
Yeah, I think that was a bit.
Just to get rid of.
That was a bit universal, wasn't it? Yeah. I used to do the bin bag, go running with a bin bag on and all that.
I used to go run. I used to sit in the sauna. I'm running. I should have tried that. I used to sit in the sauna.
Yeah, no, it don't work, Sam.
Sit in the sauna with a bottle of Budweiser.
Yeah, no, that's where you went wrong, definitely. But then you obviously start to get that. You're doing the off-season program. It's hard to stick to because you've got to get back into it. But you're doing everything you can because back then obviously now you have to do it on an app, don't you? And you have to do it and send it to the strength and conditioning or the physio.
Yeah,
so you do it all on Strava.
All your GPS with you and stuff as well. Strava as well.
You don't take your GPS dying app, do you?
No. You get double figures, wouldn't you?
Hey, Sam's working out 3 in the morning there. He's bouncing about.
I've never seen him do such mileage. So there's no hiding place now, is there? But back then it was a little bit like, I'll be all right today. If I just give myself it's better to rest. It's better to rest. You convince yourself. But
the modern day player now that they're in that good nick at the end of the season, and then they don't let themselves go like we would at all. And then they do their own stuff. I reckon they probably have a week off, 2 weeks off, but they're still eating well, still ticking over. Yeah. And then that subsequently pre-seasons have changed completely because you said we wouldn't see a ball for the first 2 weeks, whereas now it's football straight away.
Yeah.
And you get your fitness, your match fitness through doing football drills and training. Days of running, you might get one fitness test on the first day, but after that, you won't just be running around the fields.
Even at Telford, we used to do an initial testing day. So they'd come in and they'd do the explosive testing day on the Watt bike, and then they'd do is it the 4 minute 58 second run, 5 minute run or whatever, just max yourself out. And we do a couple of them, and then literally we go, right, we're going to do that again in a couple of weeks, but everything would be fitness with a view to obviously having the ball at your feet and that. Everything revolves. It's just not like that anymore.
I mean, it did towards the end for me, but when we were like in our 20s, like it's suddenly we'd be on the sand dunes like day one on the sand.
100%.
Wouldn't see a ball for 3 days. Just run, sweat until like lads are being sick and everything. And we used to have Bobby Saxton, who was like proper old school. He'd be like, no water. He'd be like,
gonna die.
Yeah.
When I was an apprentice at Exeter, they had 3 runs, and obviously when you first sign, they're like, obviously pre-season, you're going to have. They used to call it 99 steps, which was basically in the middle of an allotment, and it was like the big sort of sleeper steps. It's 99 steps that went up through the middle of the allotment, and then you'd run all the way around. Then they had one that was called King George V, which was running on a playing field around, basically run around that tree, just an absolute nightmare. And then they had the beach run, which was running along the beach, and then you go up these like slanty flipping this pathway, go up the cliff, and then you'd run up and down the sand dunes with the balls above your head, behind your head. And I remember we did the 99 steps. It was horrendous, and I couldn't stand it. And what you used to do is you used to do 1, then 2, then 3 all timed, and then you do it backwards. And I remember it was timed. And when you used to run through, you used to have to shout out your time. So we were doing it backwards, and I was just in a world of trouble. I'd never done anything this hard in my life. But all I kept saying to myself, well, we're going backwards now. So I go down the 99 steps, and I just had this in my head. So it was like we'd gone once round, up the steps and round, up the steps twice and round, and then 3 times. And then when we were doing it the other way, all I had in my head was brilliant, going down the steps. And they're so steep, you nearly tumbled down it. And then I remember running through, and all the lads were going through, and I didn't shout my time. And he went, time. And I was like, what? He was like, time. And I couldn't get my words out. And I was thinking, what was my time? He's like, Gavin, if you don't tell me your time, we're starting again, right from the beginning. So all the lads are like, get out. So then I'm going, what was my time? What was my time? What was my time? And one of the lads just went, say something. And I was like, I wasn't listening. I didn't hear the time. You got 5 seconds to tell me your time, otherwise we're starting again. And I was like, I don't know. And he went, just say something. I went, 2 minutes 53. And he went, right at the last second, he went, 2 minutes 53. And all the lads were like, oh my God, mate, are you winding me up? Like flipping, obviously you're going to do it all again. That's the worst feeling in the world, innit, that? And
you weren't a bad runner, were you? Really? Considering like a centre half, you weren't bad, were you?
I was all right. My whole thing was, when I was an apprentice, I was terrible. But as I got a bit older, I was all right. My whole thing was, don't let any of the other centre halves beat you. So if I got ahead of the centre halves, then I'd make sure I'd try and get as far as I could. But if I got from middle to front, I'd be happy. But like you say, as a centre half,
you weren't bad.
You could take
the rule in the yo-yo test or the bleep test, it used to be called, is you don't let a goal kick.
Yeah, nah.
But what about it depends who you had.
But now they're all machines.
Yeah,
now they're all the fittest in the club.
We had a few. I mean, Tranmere, we had one, Steve Wilson and all that. And he's like flying. I'm like, oh, well done.
Yeah.
Well done, Willow. That'll get you. Can't catch a ball, but you got the bleep test, so that'll get you in the team.
Well,
you were a good runner, though, Dave.
Yeah, you were good, Dave.
I naturally fit. I did a lot cross country as a kid. So I go back to pre-season, I was never worried about the run. I would do work in the off-season. I was just more worried about my body fat. I don't think body fat has anything to do with, to a degree, unless you're fat. I was never.
It's not going to be detrimental.
You'd look at me, and I never look fat, but I carry a little bit of weight around my middle, and I just couldn't get rid of it without myself looking very, very ill.
Yeah.
Like I'll go gaunt in the face if I try to lose too much.
So you were never nervous about the running?
No. It's never nice.
Yeah,
when you're still on the line of a bleep test, it's never nice because you just think I need my legs to work. But I was always, I'd say, in the top 2 or 3 players, even right through to the end. Even we did it at Bala a few weeks ago, and I was still on the end. That type of run is I'm comfortable at, sort of longer distance stuff. It's the shorter, sharper stuff, which I struggled with.
I wasn't really good at either. Yeah. Were you any good at the short, sharp stuff? Not really. The longer stuff then? No, not really.
I used to hate the long runs. I hate it. I tell you when I went to sign for Tranmere, didn't I? We signed that keeper. And the keeper, the keeper did the runs, didn't he? And the keepers come like 7th, and I've come like 5th last. Everyone's like, he's the keeper, you're the left winger. I was like, yeah, it doesn't look great at the moment.
It's not Shrewsbury Harriers, is it?
Yeah,
them come out. We'll see what happens when the balls come out. Yeah, you're not very good with the balls out either. Yeah, well,
I was the mouthiest in the runs. I'd be, well done. Yeah. Brilliant. I'd be having my arms up, stopping the young lads running past me.
I used to always get that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You busy bastard.
Well done. Well done, Dave. Well done. Get back there, Dave.
But I'd have the coaches in me here. Do it for yourself, Dave. Do it for yourself. You're like,
I don't know what to do.
Do it for yourself. You go, Sam's going to chin me if you run past.
When me and Steve Leslie were having a conversation the other day about... He is probably one of 2 that I would say the best runners.
Mickey Gray, Darren Williams of Sunderland were unbelievable.
Mate, I was with Lesbo the other day, and I said to him, he was reminding me, and we were at Shrewsbury, and we were doing the pitch runs. I can't remember how many pitch runs is it there and back. Can you remember? We did it with Stu Delaney, and we were doing them, and Lesbo went to go off, and as he was next to me, and as he went to go, I put my elbow up and elbowed him in the neck, and he's like, Lesbo's firing it. What are you doing? I was like, you ain't running past me. Like, don't do that again, otherwise I'm going to take your head off. So we're having this argument, and I was like, Lesbo, don't go running off and mugging the lads off, which is a disgrace, really. He's got obviously going. And it got to a point where he was so good, it was embarrassing. And he was going, can I go now, please? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, go on, you can go. And he just literally, it was embarrassing. He would just lap you and like 2-3 times over. But he was laughing the other day. I was like, if you dare run past me, I'm going to literally clean you out. He's like going, I just want to be the best. Just shut up. You ain't running. Like, you're not leaving us. Like, we'll need to do it together. We're in it together. But
Who's the best runner who's the best pre-season runner you were with, Dave?
The fittest lad I've ever seen is a lad called George Friend. He's still playing. I think is he still at Birmingham now?
Wolves lad,
He was left back. He was at Middlesbrough as well for quite a bit. Left back. Beautiful human being, ripped to shreds. Should be like a Calvin Klein model.
Yeah.
Lovely lad. But he just ran at this one pace.
Sorry, I'm back. What we talk about me?
Gav's had to shut the window there because there's the leak coming in there.
George Friend. But he just ran at this one pace and just stayed there.
Steady.
And when I say one pace, it's like a 3/4 pace. So me running pretty much balls out, but he can maintain that
Olympic
pace.
1500 meter pace.
Yeah, and when we got promoted to the Premier League, Mick McCarthy, he knew that we weren't going to be the best technically, so he said, I'm going to have the fittest team in the league.
Yeah.
And that pre-season, look back when I first started, you say that was old school, but Mick had us doing these mad runs. Went out to Australia, was in Perth, and we're doing 800 metres every single day. We'd be split into 3 teams. You do an 800 metre run. You come into it and attack v defence. You go straight into defence, straight off the 800 metres run. Legs are jelly. Then you go into attack after that. That's a bit of your breathe and then straight back in. It was just going on for ages and ages. And then we did this one day, a place called Kings Park in Perth, a big old place. And the fitness coach said, it's going to be a tough day today, lads. And we're already knackered. So we did like about a half an hour cross country run all the way around the park. Lads got back and went, that wasn't too bad. I think we got a flighty there. That's the warm up done, boys. Boys honestly couldn't believe it. And they marked out this run. It was an 800 meter run again, and it was all on a gradual uphill, and it was all pretty much straight as it was in the middle of the park. And we had to do 6 of these runs. And you split into 3 groups, and I was in the top group with George Friends, and that was like that was his distance. Yeah, so I was in the fast group.
Yeah. Good. I liked it when they did that though. I thought that's sensible. Good. Get them ones up there. That's fine.
But you'd run to the top, and you had to hit a time. I think for our group it was like 2 minutes 45, which up a hill to 800 meters was tough. And then you had to go back. It wasn't 6 actually; it was 4 we had to do. But you weren't allowed to walk back start. You had to jog back, and you had to jog back within 3 minutes as well. It was all downhill, so it's a lot quicker, or 3.5 minutes maybe, and then just start again. And after one, the lads were done, but they managed to get through again. We had a lad on trial, old Celtic player, Bobo Balde. Do you remember? Bobo. Yeah. So he's a big lad, so he doesn't move very well in terms of 800 metres.
He's not doing that.
So as I'm jogging back down the hill for my 3rd run, Bobo is just sat up against a tree, sweating, shaking his head. And I swear, from that moment on, we didn't see Bobo again the whole trip. He went back, phoned his agent, got himself off. It was that. It was that hard, mate. Honestly, that was the hardest run I've ever done. But George Friend in that just absolutely cruised it, mate. Cruised it. Some lad, yeah.
No. We had Sunderland. We had Mickey Gray and Darren Williams. And we'd be out with Mickey Gray would be out on the pre-season trip. We'd have a night out, and then the next day he'd still be running. I'd be like, that's not fair. He can't. He's last one to get in on the night out, and he's still the best runner the next day. I used to hate that. We used to have the sand dunes. Remember Shrewsbury? We'd be running around up Ormond Hill. I don't know whether you did that one.
Yeah,
we all hid behind a bush. We all get time. We all hiding trying to come in.
Do you remember the one with Jimmy Quinn where they took us to the quarry? And we got there, it was unorganised, wasn't it? And we got there, it was like, what runs are we doing? We stood, the statue at the bottom of the quarry. Yeah. And from there you can run right up to the gates, up that hill. Run, yeah. And I remember, was it Cook? I think it was Cook who did. He looked up there and he was like, right, what are we going to do then? He started looking around, looking left, looking right, he goes, every tree and back. And on that straight, mate, there must have been like 20 trees, mate, all uphill. Oh, it was horrendous. That was a tough one, but just lack of organisation.
Yeah.
How many times have you woke up during pre-season and thought, I'm not going to be able to get through today? But you always end up doing it, don't you? I don't know.
You're so stiff, don't you?
I literally don't know. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Yeah. I have that thought has gone through my head so many times. I just don't think I can do this.
Yeah. I do not miss that one bit. Did you have that feeling again at Bala then, or what?
Because we only train once a week or twice a week. It's different, but it's when you're doing it every day. I mean, you're praying when you go in the morning, aren't you? That you say, I'll turn up and say to Gav, you stiff today? Hoping he's saying yes. And you get the one who says no, you're like,
yeah, you stiff? No, I'm all right. Are you stiff? No, I'm all right. Oh, I'm me.
I used to be like, I feel horrendous. I would do everything, and I'd say everything as loud as I could around a fitness coach. Yeah. Oh, I feel terrible today. I tell you what, if we do anything like yesterday,
there's
massive chance of injuries.
I forgive him that all the time. There'll be pulls. There will.
You have to answer to the gaffer. It'll be you answering to the gaffer, not me. Yeah, and thinking about some of them horrible runs, we did one with Telford, and I remember Jags.
You used to run up the Wrekin, didn't you?
Oh, mate. Honestly, so Rob Smith took us up the Wrekin, and I remember, like, that's not a euphemism, it's genuinely the Wrekin. And I remember being in with Jags, bless him, and Jags was like, he helped me massively, because up until that point, you know that fear that you said that you had, I had it as well. And on this particular day, Jags just went, mate, we're going to get here, we're going to smash it out, and then you'll be home in 2 hours. And I thought, it's not a bad shout, it's not a bad way of looking at it. And you proper got me motivated for the day. Oh, it's the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. So when you go to the Wrekin, you walk up, and then obviously you go up that first incline, which is a bit of a beauty. Yeah. But about 100 metres up to the right, there's like an opening, and it's ridiculous to even think someone would run up there. And we started off with 6 runs up there. And I'm not even joking, you're grabbing onto vegetation to keep yourself up. But then when you get to this top tree that you can see in the distance at the top of the cliff, you've got to go around that and come back down. But obviously when you're coming down, you feel like you're going to tumble over. So your quads are absolutely crying out to you, because you can't stop yourself. Yeah. So you have to get to one tree, get to another tree, all the way down. It's 6 times. So then you're done. Obviously you're shot to bits. And he's like, right, we're going to run up. So you run up, and then you do like another different run, jumping over trees that have fallen over and all of this, sit 12 times, and then you're just done then. And he's like, please don't take us to the top of the Wrekin. I can't do any more. And he's like, right, you can have a cool down on the way down. And I just think that's one of the hardest runs I've ever done.
They wouldn't even do anything like that now, because they're worried about the surfaces you're running on, going from grass to harder surfaces, road running. They won't let you do road running in pre-season. No. Stuff like that. It's so...
So they wouldn't expect you to do any road running in the off-season?
No, not allowed. You've got to find grass.
What, because
of
joints?
Yeah. Going from different surfaces, going onto 3G to grass, or from, say, tarmac onto grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's sensible, isn't it? But I used to be excited for the first day back to see the lads.
Yeah,
so I'd be buzzing for that, to see the lads and that, because you'd have your stories of what you'd been up to and that one, and you'd probably had your lads holiday, but you probably wouldn't have seen them for like a month or even 5 weeks.
Yeah. So start remembering stories, don't you?
Yeah, so you're buzzing to see each other. Like you
can't believe he's had you back.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Flipping. After last season, they've got you back.
He's nicked another year.
He's in Iron Apps. I'm not going to sign. He's not offered me enough.
Yeah. You told me in Iron App that you weren't going to sign.
Both saying it. Like, if you don't sign, I won't sign. You walk through the door. Here he is, Louis.
And you'd have the new lads, wouldn't you? Be like, oh, he's coming. He's up. He's the centre off. He's coming. He's having your spot.
Oh, that's the worst.
That's horrible.
That's minging.
And the new signings in the corner. They'd be like, what position are you, mate? You'd be like, left wing. What? Can you play left back? Not really, mate. I'm out now, left wing. All right, mate.
So I'm sure you cut in from the right though, dear, if you're left-footed. No.
What's your strengths? Oh, I score goals. I get on the back stick and score a few.
I'm really good at crossing it.
No.
You know you're 6'4". You're a keeper. You know you'll be a keeper, will you? No, mate, centre half. Right side or left? Probably right side. Yeah. No, left side. Oh, okay.
No, but it's exciting to see that. But yeah, like the nerves of the. Because you know what's coming, don't you? And the coaches, I don't know what you were like when you were managing, Gav, but like they wouldn't tell you. I'd be like that. Like, tell me what I'm doing. Tell me what I'm doing today. Can't tell you. Yeah. Ooh, can't tell you. I'd be like, just tell me. Yeah. Like, stop being childish.
And they love it as well, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like geeky, isn't it?
I'm 30 years of age now. Yeah. Tell me what I'm going to be doing today. I can't tell you.
Yeah. I would tell the lads, and I'd make a point of giving them an itinerary through the course of pre-season. So
they knew what they were doing the whole way through.
Yeah, and it's very rare that you deviate. So we'd have the off-season programme, and in the same format but extended, I'd put literally all of the sessions that we're going to do in there. It would like literally everything, all the session plans, when we're in, when we're not in, timings, the whole lot, just to make sure they know. So there's no excuse. And then if you deviate, it comes from me, no one else. And to be fair, the lads revelled in it. But what I would say to him is, look, it's dependent on how you do. So obviously this is it. This is obviously all with the ball. But obviously make no mistake that if you're not willing to be committed to it, if we're not gonna get what we need to get out of it, then there'll be additional as well. So obviously they would put everything into it, and
not knowing was hard though, because you think so many times you actually finish the session when you just finished your fiver, you're already knacking. That must be it for today.
Yeah,
getting ready to start walking over, and it's like, right lads, over to the line. Yeah. Oh, here we go again.
Although even worse than that, it'd be like, right lads, grab yourself some lunch. See you again 1:30. You'd be like, what? He's not even joking. He's not even joking. Like,
well, the worst ever was when one of the, like you say, I imagine Cookie at Shrewsbury when you were with him there. Imagine he's that character. I've got loads of characters who do the whole. You wouldn't be in the afternoon, and they'd go see it one, and you'd go, are you joking? No, not joking. And then you get in and you go, he's shot off, and you go, oh, he's only joking. You're like, oh my god, like those ones there that used to wind you up. It was a blessing though, wasn't it?
When you play pre-season, though, didn't you? And them first pre-season games were horrible as well. When you tried to see that, you literally couldn't breathe. I'm trying to get your breath back. And the gaffer was going you'll probably only play 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops. I'd be like, that's sound, but like 65 minutes, and I could my chest's on fire. But is he forgotten? Dave, is the gaffer know I've been on 65 minutes here? It's 2 weeks now,
But pre-season, more than any other time, it's so individual because you're competing. You want to be in that starting lineup first game of the season, so you are up against other people. Yeah. And those first few games when you do 45 minutes each, and you're playing like a non-league team or something. Yeah, given the first 45 minutes, you come in 0-0 or 1-0 down, you get changed, and the other lads come on when they're fucked. Straight away back.
And every single time.
I want to play second half when they start getting.
Because even playing non-league, you'd always play a lesser opposition. It's exactly the same scenario. They're giving everything, and then they're absolutely shattered. The other lads come on and went, "We'll sort this for you, lads. Don't worry." And he's like, "You 1-0 down, you win 3-1." And it's like, lads, just play me, and we'll be all right.
It gets ragged those second half, doesn't it? It opens up a little bit, and spaces open up, and that.
But you've got your competition, the players in your position, and being horrible, you just don't want to do well, do you? Because you want the first game of the season, even though the team in a month after that will be completely different. That first game of the season is such a big moment for a player, isn't it?
Massive.
You want to be in it.
Yeah.
And it is. It's every man for himself. You're thinking about yourself. How can I get myself up there? How can I impress? Yeah. You need a good, especially if you've signed for a new club, which obviously I had invariably.
Often they clocked onto you by then.
Yeah. So I was like, right. So you've got to make an impression. It's your first game. Everybody's watching you, aren't they? So you've got to hit the ground running, haven't you?
And I suppose this is where, like, when we talk about the running, and it's like, it's competition, but it's not just on the pitch. Obviously, on the pitch is the most obvious one, but you think about all that running that goes on pre-season. Even like the sessions now, there's no running. Now it's more geared at football. It's every session, I think, you can get an edge on the person that wants to play in your place. I always used to think every single session I'm getting an edge on you, which is why I go back to it. Whenever I did do the running, it was like, I've just got to finish above the centre halves. As long as I do that, I'll be all right. And problem is, I played with a lad called Gaz Dean, and he was flipping it, mate. He's just like an absolute machine. So like, got no chance with him. So I go, finish back in front of all of the other centre halves. Do you know what I mean? You got the odd one who's just an absolute freak, and I'd be like, we can't play football instead.
Yeah, you always look for those early wins, aren't you?
But you're in competition because you'd always be a couple of people, wouldn't they, in your position? So you'd always be like, but you'd constantly be making judgments when like the new lads would be in, and you'd be judging them in 15 minutes, wouldn't you? Like as soon as the ball comes out, the first five aside. He's terrible.
Yeah, goes to that.
As soon as someone has it first touch, you go, how much? How much we bought him for? How much is he on?
And it's interesting because you could sink on that, couldn't you? Like there's some lads that you think, flipping, you start saying that and you start going, he ain't going to last the course here.
Peter Crouch talks about with Liverpool, didn't he? Said Gerrard used to get it and he would zing it in, didn't he, to all the new lads all the time. Just get it and just whack. And just like, can you handle it? And that's what's constantly. Like, you remember you coming in, didn't you? Everybody's testing you straight away, going, he's having himself coming there. Like, straight away you're going, let's see what he's all about.
And and I think if you've got anything about you know that they're testing you. Yeah. So you think to yourself, okay, we're playing them games. Okay, right. And you rise to it, don't you? But I've seen so many lads crumble. Yeah. Seen so many lads crumble just before you even get to the games. You're thinking, are you going to be all right? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you're getting on them.
Especially if you're going to step up. Especially say for you signing for Wolves, Dave. That's a step up, isn't it? Suddenly you're going,
I feel like everyone's looking at me now.
I've got to do well. I've got to do well here.
Like for you stepping up to Wolves, Dave, and me stepping up to Canvey. It's a big test, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But how false as well from a team collective perspective? How false is pre-season?
Yeah, you can have the worst pre-season as a team and lose every game, and you go into the season and you're flying.
Mate, I can't get my head around, like, everybody's Brazil, aren't they, pre-season? Yeah. And then as soon as the game's kicked, it's like, I remember when I was at Shrewsbury, we had 9 pre-season games, and I played in every single one. Really, like, and I felt fit, I felt strong. I remember Mick Wadsworth coming to me saying, "You all right to go again?" I'm like, "Yeah." I just want to play every game. I'm ready, and I think this is the best thing for me. Brilliant. I remember we played Stoke at home. I think we beat them 3-1. In pre-season. I felt indestructible. And then I'll never forget, we played Rochdale at home in the first game of the season, and I felt indestructible. I played all 9 games, nearly every minute. I was like, I'm going to get to the Premier League. Give me half a yard. I am on the ascendancy. Don't you worry about me. Oh my God, I had Grant Holt, Ricky Lambert. I remember coming off coughing up blood. We lost 1-0. I don't remember winning a header. I remember I didn't lose in a race to Grant Holt, but that would have been over the mark. But I just got beaten up, totally destroyed. I'm just thinking to myself, what? Is not everybody want to play like we did pre-season?
Pre-season was different when we were just knocking it about, playing the feet and everybody.
Guys, can we not go back to pre-season? I just remember thinking, flipping.
We lose that 1-0. We lost
1-0, yeah.
So I remember that game. I was left out of the squad completely in the pre-season because you brought in loads of midfielders and they're always going to get a chance. They're always going to get a chance in there. I remember sat in the stands watching that game and everything. Oh, don't worry, just like new signs can just wait it out.
Yeah,
I got back in the team, but that can be like crushing.
So, I mean, you know that's not going to be the team.
So it was crushing, Dave, when Grant Holt gets you at the back post, you don't know he's coming, and he jumps over the top of you and knees you in the back, and you see one of your teeth fly out, and you think, it's not going well, this, is it?
But talk about bringing new signings in. It's when they bring in the marquee sign and he's in your position, and you think, you know your place is there. They're going to give that lad every single chance to prove himself.
If he's been bought as a big name,
regardless of how well you do,
you know they're going to get more chances. Especially if you're like a local lad as well, you're always going to be easy. You're an easy option, aren't you? As a young lad, you're an easy option.
You're hoping they're not as good as what you think they are. When we got promoted to the Premier League, brought in Nenad Milias, a Serbian lad.
Yeah. He sounds amazing. That's the first thing, isn't it? Nenad Milias.
I remember we was out he turned up when we was in that Australia trip, and Terry Connolly, the assistant manager, comes to me and says, this Nenad lad. He says, I've been to watch him times. What a player. Set pieces, left-footed, unreal. Yeah. I said, shit, that's obviously my place. Done, but got into training, mate. Got into training, and he was an absolute magician, mate. And you just think, shit. Yeah. Right, so I need to work on playing on the right wing now.
I'll challenge him. I'm going to challenge him from his place. Oh, no, he's too good. Yeah.
Well, that's where it must have been a lot more difficult for you two, because you played in real sort of, like, the positions, like, that's where big players play. If you've got a worldie winger, he can be your star man. If you've got a midfielder who can control the game, more often than not as a centre-half, you back yourself because you know what, especially at that lower level that I played, you back yourself because you know what the requirements are. It's like, right, they've got to be good in the air. I back myself there. They've got to be physical, right? Okay,
reliability and trust as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
all of that. And I think, you think to yourself, I'll back myself here. It's very rare that a centre half comes in. You think, he's going to be miles ahead of me.
You see that little gap, but then it's easier to if on the wing, you're always still going to be in and around the squad, aren't you? Because you can your centre half. Your centre halves are playing. If you're still a centre half, you're never really getting on, are you? Yeah. Like as a winger, you're always still going to be all right because you're always going to be in and around it. You might not be starting, but you're going to be sub because you're going to.
Yeah, I mean, from a starting perspective, I think you're right. I think
forward players are more lucky, definitely, when you say about that, because you are going to get a chance. You're going to get half an hour. Do you know what I mean?
You're going to get half an hour, and because you can go left wing or right wing, or you can play attack midfield. So there's loads more options. I think if you're a centre off, you're a centre off, aren't you? And you're either you're in or you're out. A bit like a keeper, isn't it? You're in or you're out. Whereas if you're on the wing, you always go, we'll have him as a sub. We'll give him 30 minutes. So you've always got.
Come on and score or get an assist. You've got a good chance to start the next game, haven't you?
It's funny you say about reliability as a centre half. When I was at Canvey, we were flying at the time in a conference, and I couldn't get in a team. We played like a back three, so I wanted to play on the left, but I was really pitched up against a guy called Ben Chinnery, like brilliant character, like phenomenal in the changing room, which again obviously gets him close to the team because he's such a big character. But I could never understand why he played ahead of me. Honestly, I was that player. I was left-footed. I wanted to do a Cruyff every now and again. I was like, I can win my headers. I can do that. I can't understand. But he was so, like, looking back, he was so reliable. He's such a good player. I was like, he's not even that big. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't big. He wasn't wide. Like I couldn't but looking back, I can understand his experience. He was so reliable. He was at that time. He was so much a better player than me. Like but at the time I was like
reliability, don't you, as a centre half?
Yeah, and that's what he was. He was really good at that. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good player, but I just couldn't understand. I was like, because to me, being a good player at the time was going, well, I can drop it into the front man. I've got a great left foot. I can do this. You hype yourself up, but actually, as a centre half, it sounds like you're talking to yourself like you're a winger, Gav. Cruyff's and left foot and wrapping the ball in. It's like, well, just defend, and obviously I grew to understand what that meant. But yeah, I remember.
Did you ever feel on the other side when you went to a new club and you turn up as the new signing, that the lads in your position are looking at you, they do not like me?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not they didn't like you, but straight away that like.
There's a distance, isn't there? That you kind of, it's not as.
It's natural, isn't it? In fairness, fair enough, isn't it? Really, because that's
100%. I when I signed for Fleetwood, I know for a fact Steve McNulty did everything he could to get around the lads to alienate me.
I think that. Well, that's not on. Like I would never have done that.
Oh, he wouldn't have got. He wouldn't have gone to him and directly said. But I know that because they were very close knit. They're all Scousers and that. I think he made a point of alien. Like now, I see him now, and I think he was looking after himself because like. He was brilliant anyway. I don't think I'd have got in ahead of him. But he was.
Well, that's embarrassing. That's insecurity for me.
And when you settle at a new club, I can almost guarantee that your best friend in those opening 2 or 3 weeks, or the ones you're most comfortable with, will not be a player in your position.
Yeah,
100%. Like as a midfielder, I might be.
It was nothing personal with Macca. But yeah, it was nothing personal with Macca. I think it was very much like he was like, it's what, like, you know, it's all for one here. Like, you know, sorry, it was like every man for himself. So I think he saw me coming in and he just saw me as a competition. Whereas I speak to him now and it's like, brilliant. How are you? Yeah, great. You. But I think at that time, I think he was very. As soon as I come into the club, I felt very uneasy around the other players, thinking it's like, you know, like someone's planted a seed about you or something like that. The one I got on with Gaz Seddon, he was like class, but he was a bit of a maverick himself, like, you know. So
right, you finished the season. You've smashed the gym from like March, April, May. Like your arms, chest, and stomach, isn't it? You're looking unbelievable.
Yeah.
You have your 2 weeks in Iron Apple, fat as anything. You put on 1.5 stone. You come back. You have your off-season program. Your 400. You do 90%.
Half of it, yeah.
You do, well, 90% generous. That's like generous. And then you get back into it. You start playing your 45 minutes, don't you, pre-season. Then you have your pre-season trip, and then you do all your bits. And then first game of the season, no matter what you've done, it's always boiling hot, and you are first 10 minutes absolutely blown on.
Gasping for a drink.
Like, it's ridiculous, isn't it? No matter what you've done, no matter how fit you think you are, pre-season, because it's the nerves and the adrenaline, isn't it? That feeling though, going out for pre-season in the dressing room, I remember that at pretty much all my clubs. It's amazing, like amazing buzz that I think.
That first game, if you're in the team, it's amazing. Like, especially if you're at home.
Great feeling.
And the atmosphere's like electric, and you're
back into that routine of, like I've said before on the first series of the podcast, that I used to love a Friday night because it was like my time. Do you know, I'm preparing myself for the game, and you're back into that, aren't you? Your missus can't ask you to do anything with the kids. No, I'm preparing, right? I'm lying. I'm doing all that sort of stuff.
How good your routine as a player? I did love my routine.
But then if you don't get it, the problem is because you're like, I think loads of footballers are the same. If something upsets that,
if
you
don't
so
like
it, no, because you don't. If you're too much like, this is what I do, this is what happens. But even when I had children, like Holly would be on a Friday night, like I was like, whoa, I need to rest now. Put my feet up, watch the telly, go to sleep, like have a lie in, and Saturday morning. I think like that's probably 95% of footballers. If something upset that, didn't it? Like if the child was ill or something on a Friday, even like mentally, you wouldn't like it, would you? Like this is like Holly'd be like, my mum's coming out. What? Friday night.
Oh, so true.
I've got match tomorrow. That's not in the routine.
And even if you've got a home game Saturday morning, like a bear of a sore head. Like I don't want anyone around the house. I don't want anyone messing. Like, no loud noises. No loud noise. Don't want any making any noise.
I'm on my own schedule here.
You can't interrupt. You lot will have to revolve around me for once. Yeah,
but it is dangerous to be too much like that, isn't it? Because if something does change, which sometimes it did, especially if we got kids, like. You can't adapt then, can you? Just be like, oh no, it's not right.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because like you say, that routine's important, isn't it? And you just want to be so focused on it. But like you say, sometimes you over.
It gets the pace of that first game. Oh wow!
Well, normally for me, about 10 minutes in, being a ginge, my face is bright red, like a beetroot.
Like,
I mean, mate. But the thing is, with you lot, you can hide it a little bit. And sort of do like, I'm all right, I'm fitter than what I look. Whereas my face would be like a Belisha beacon.
Your face has betrayed you. You're in trouble.
Gav,
number 4,
Gav, are you all right?
Are
you all right?
It's when you go past all the lads, they got all the white around their mouth.
I'll be all right in a bit.
The white around the mouth.
Dave, are you knackered? I'm knackered.
Shine on for a gel off the physio. 10 minutes in.
Gav, go down. I'm all right. Why? Your face is so red. Go down.
But but there's nothing like that first game in the dressing room. It's amazing, and the atmosphere is brilliant. It's boiling hot.
And if you win the game, you think you're going to win the league, don't you?
That's all the talk starts.
We're going to win it this year. Honestly, I think we're going to win it.
Yeah.
We went to Wrexham and we won 5-0 first game. We were like, done, isn't it? I wonder how many medals, how many games you need for medal and all that. It's ridiculous. It's amazing though. If you win that first game, then there's nothing like it.
Brilliant.
Because everybody's got their expectation. You've all got your own little goals, especially like in pre-season. A lot of clubs give you your individual goals, so your goal might be to score 10 goals, or you go maybe to get like player of the season, and you've got like, everybody thinks they're going to win the league. Everybody thinks we have a great season, don't they? And
if you do well, like I was looking back before, I think I've scored on 4 of my opening days.
Wow.
That just gets you. You feel invincible.
Feel it,
I've got a chance of, say, getting golden boot here. I'm definitely on from 10 from midfield. Definitely 10 from midfield.
Thierry Henry didn't score today, so I'm one ahead of him.
I'll eat double figures, double figures easy.
But you feel invincible. Going to training Monday morning, you've won the game, you've scored. It doesn't matter what happens this week. I'm playing next Saturday 100%.
We played Macclesfield opening game of the season, and it was like
Shrewsbury.
No, I was at Nuneaton, so it was in the conference, and we won 1-0, but they were like favourites, and we beat them 1-0. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. We that was the first one, and then the following season we played Grimsby, and obviously Grimsby, massive club in the conference, and they were just tipped to win the whole thing. And like we were a very good side, but obviously we were part time playing in the conference. No one really had any expectations. And 20 minutes in, I don't know what happened to us, but we turned into Barcelona, and they literally couldn't get the ball off us. And I scored the first one, header, shock, and then Andy Brown scored to say 2-0 up after 20 minutes, and I could see the fans at Blundell Park walking out the ground, and we beat them 2-1. I think they scored like an injury time right at the end. But that feeling of going to them, obviously the nice ground for the level. Obviously it was packed out because they just had all this expectation. Fans walking out, and I'll never forget, it was boiling hot that day, and we just it all clicked on the day, and it was like, we were even on the pitch afterwards. They had the sprinklers on, and we all come out in our shorts, didn't we? Oh yeah, we're really hot and all that, like trying to flex our muscles and all that. But it was just a brilliant feeling. I'll never forget that.
It's a good, if you're the underdog, it's always difficult for the relegated team. Like say the conference season, was it first game played Margate at home? Shrewsbury coming down to the conference, expected to buy, and we drew 1-1 to Margate.
Yeah, first game of the season that went to, we thought we were just going to steamroll everyone.
All the new signings.
We scored early on, didn't we? Or we were winning.
And scored in the first 5 minutes. Here we go, lads.
Yeah, that's what it was like. We scored. It was boiling hot, wasn't it? Watsy scored. Yeah, I remember that. He scored, winning 1-0. We were like, I was like, this is going to be a breeze this season. It's like, light me cigar here on this left wing. I'm cruising, And then suddenly they equalised, didn't they? And it was panic station. And they gave it, boo.
Because it's the biggest game of their season, isn't it? And it's that FA Cup mentality. You have the mentality of saying, Margate, we'll just sweep these aside. And they're thinking, we've got to be on our game. That's the joy of the FA Cup, isn't it?
And as a relegated team, there's kind of renewed optimism the next season there. So the Meadow would have had quite a few. There'd probably been 5,000, I reckon, wouldn't there, for an opening game like that? Margate turn up and do a number on us.
Flipping heck. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of pre-season, off-season.
I suppose I was the other side of it. We went to Luton, and as Nuneaton again, we went to Luton. There's like 9,500 there, and like 1-0 up in injury time, and it was I always forget what the lad's called. He went to Orient in the end, but he's hit a 35-yarder. I remember saying to the lads, like, he's hit it, and he's caught up on a bobble, and he's caught it absolutely. I've just gone, that'd be all right. Like, said something like that, like, let him shoot, and he's hit it from 35 yards. It's literally gone right in the stanchion, and obviously you know Luton. I think I've mentioned this before, and the ground shook.
Incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, well, they were just, obviously it was the other way round. They were absolutely buzzing, but they just got pelters after, because we were the part-time nobodies, and like they were Luton who were just going to sweep everyone aside, and we played them off the park, is the truth. But yeah, it's because again, it was the game of our season, wasn't it? But to Luton, they were like, we'll just swat these idiots aside, we'll sort them out, and it just never works like that, does it?
I think to sum up then, really, pre-season's horrible.
Yeah.
The off-season's amazing.
Brilliant.
The first couple of weeks, isn't it? And the first game of the season's horrible, but it's also a massive buzz, isn't it? And it can literally set the tone for your season as an individual and for your team, can't it?
Yeah. It's a great time. All them lads who are having to experience it now. They've gone through their pre-season. They're just starting the games. What a brilliant time to be. But you've done all that hard work through pre-season.
And they've all got who no one knows what's going to happen. They've all got these things. They've all got huge ambitions. But obviously, who knows what's going to happen? It's
an exciting time, isn't it? Good luck to them all. I hope they all.
Good luck to them.
Countdown for the summer starts.
Yeah, and we'll do it Christmas, Dave, won't it?
And this was like our first game this season. How did you feel it went? I was like, I am a bit hot actually. I was struggling a little bit early doors there.
Like riding a bike, I feel like we just took to it. I think we're still novices, still crap, but we're getting there. Yeah. No, it felt good, didn't
First episode, season 2. We've got a guest doing. Got Ryan on next week, haven't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Doing Ryan next week. That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, really good. Ryan Lowe.
Ryan Lowe.
That doesn't know him as Ryan.
Preston manager. I said we'll get.
It's probably my favourite
early.
one out of them so far.
So we'll get him in early just because you know what football's like. You've only got 6 games from the sack, so we get him in early. Just If we see him for like 3 months down the line, it's got pear-shaped. It's not. We'll not get as many numbers.
We can't introduce him as the ex-Preston. He wouldn't be happy about that.
Talking about all his pre-season plans.
Yeah. but for me personally, that's probably my favourite so far. I really enjoyed that one. Just this, it's just a remarkable journey, isn't it? Like you think, plays for Burscough, and like you've said, Sam, you wouldn't have ever imagined. And he's taken opportunities. He's been successful, and I think he'll be successful.
Definitely your favourite then.
Not definitely. I think
what's your favourite to see?
I'll let you tell Carl. Give me that.
Yeah, Carl Akimi's amazing, isn't it?
His
He's
hand.
on Instagram. I'm made him on Instagram now. He's doing more jiu-jitsu, isn't he?
Yeah, competing properly.
I was just about to say,
me and Gav had some jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah. It's not quite as shielded as what he does, but he's he's a remarkable human being. Those two are very close for different reasons, I think. I think for me personally, the Ryan Lowe thing's very inspirational. And then Carl Akimi, I think it's on another planet, isn't he? What he talks about and the journey he's been on.
Deep, that one.
Yeah.
And we got Michael Bridges.
There's a few watery eyes in that one, weren't there? Did Carl Akimi, did anyone else get water? No, just me? Okay.
Who else have we got coming up?
Michael Bridges. Chris Skitt.
Chris Skitt, yeah. That's a great one, that. For anyone interested in sports science and anything, that is fascinating.
What a brain he's got.
Kevin Ratcliffe's what about that Evan team? He says about that Evan team.
Right, he walks in the room and he's like, won league championships, won the European Cup. He's like,
Evan's most successful ever captain. He's like, wow. Yeah,
what a guy.
Gav's getting his pour him a coffee.
Yeah.
1 sugar, please, Gav.
Stick one in there. Rats, stick a sugar in there and a little bit of milk, pal.
I told you about Canby Island.
You're not that big. I'll flipping run all over you. No, he was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, and hopefully a couple more guests as well.
A couple more guests, and we'll do a little bit ourselves. But as always, give us loads of feedback. In fairness, they were brilliant last year, weren't they, giving the feedback? Dave, you're mum excited about the new series, Dave?
Can't wait. I was with her today asking when it's going to be out.
I think
a bit nappy of the wait.
I think up until now, people have got
everybody's getting sick of waiting.
We've dragged it out a lot.
Sick of waiting.
Yeah, we've dragged it out a bit too long, I think. So apologies to everyone, but as well, get behind it. Try and support us in any way you can, because obviously we're just trying to do something worth value. So I'm excited.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Nice one. Thanks very much, everybody. As always, get in touch with us in the stiffs
at gmail.com.
Send us a message, and we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So send us
at in the stiffs.
At in the stiffs. Get in touch. See you soon, everyone.
See you at the far
Cheers,
post.
lads.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Thank you.